that time?
Where's Joe? Somebody else see him. Okay.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the Zebulon Board of Commissioners meeting for December 6, 2021. And we will have the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Miles. If you would lead us.
Yes, if you guys would please rise and join with me. Everybody would like to join in with me, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Next, we have school recognitions. And I'm going to go down.
Approval of the agenda.
Approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor? So passed. And next is school recognition. And Jordan Norris Sanders. Okay. This is Jordan Norris Sanders, and I'll read what East Wake High School had to say about you. Jordan Norris Sanders is a senior at East Wake High School, Wendell. Jordan is actively involved in a number of school clubs: National Honor Society, Book Club, Drama Club, and Beta Club. He holds leadership roles in the East Wake Health Occupation Students of America as committee representative, and he is the president of East Wake Interact Club. He also represents his school in the Wake County Superintendent's Student Leadership Council. In addition to club activities, he is an outstanding performer in the arts, a proficient player of the alto sax and many other instruments. Jordan has performed in the East Wake Marching Band, Concert Band, and Wind Ensemble. His musical talent and hard work earned him a chair in the North Carolina All-District Band. In academics, Jordan has been on the principal's list all 4 years in high school and is set to graduate this year as one of the top students in his class. His plans after high school consist of attending college and studying neuroscience with a minor in music. He hopes to attend Vanderbilt University or the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. And we would like to give you this plaque that reads, Town of Zebulon recognizes Jordan Norris Sanders of East Wake High School of being an overall outstanding student. He is a role model to other students by standing out as a leader. Thank you. You busy. Next, we will recognize the teacher of the month. It's Doran Keller. And it reads, Ms. Keller is a special education teacher at East Wake High School. She moved to North Carolina 11 years ago from her home in New Hampshire to be closer to her 13-year-old goddaughter and take advantage of the great weather. She has worked in special education in both Franklin and Wake counties. During that time, Ms. Keller will be retiring at the end of this year. She is a proud mom of 3 and a grandmother of 13. Oh, 3, I'm sorry. I'm trying to give you some.
10 of which you don't know about.
with one on the way in February. Ms. Keller enjoys traveling to be with her family in D.C., New York, and Boston. Ms. Keller has made wonderful friends amongst her peers while at East Wake High School and continues to be in touch with and support of her past students. It's been a pleasure working with our students. And we would like to give you this plaque, which reads, from the town of Zebulon recognizes Doreen Keller of East Wake High School for her dedication to the school and students. Ms. Keller is invaluable and highly deserving of being recognized as an outstanding educator. December 6, 2021, signed by the Mayor, Glenn L. York. Public comment period. We don't have any. Okay, the consent agenda.
I make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor? It passes unanimous. New business administration.
All right, we've got board appointments, and I wanted to do some clarification in the staff report. We have 2 positions available on the Parks and Rec Advisory Board, but we have no in-town positions available on the Board of Adjustment. All those positions are full. We have 1 ETJ in town, or 1 ETJ regular and 1 ETJ alternate vacancy, but all the applications received have been for in-town or from in-town residents, and neither is available to be here. So I will read what they submitted. First one is Adrian Harris. I am submitting this letter of interest to you to be read due to my absence. I am currently pursuing my MBA at NC State University, and we are in finals, which is why I am unavailable to address you today. Some information about me. I am a native of Wilson, North Carolina, and currently reside in Zebulon. As an HR divisional manager, it has always been my passion to help others. This is mainly why I am showing interest to serve on a board for my community. I am a promoter of giving back to the community. As a young child, I went to the Boys and Girls Club, which provided resources that have contributed to my success today. On July 1, I was recently named to the board of directors for the Sherrod Foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit organization with the mission to improve communities by helping children and saving lives by providing knowledge and self-help actions. As a board member, I am able to participate in helping make decisions for the betterment of low-poverty communities. Being a part of planning and strategizing to help make decisions for the betterment of humanity has been a long-time goal for me. I am a part of a fraternal organization whose sole purpose is achievement and service. My seat on a board will allow me to provide a great service to the citizens of Zebulon. I always tell people that in HR we are the actual human resource for our employees, and I would like to be a resource to the town of Zebulon. Thank you for your attention, Adrian. And then the second comes from Quentin Taylor. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for accepting this letter in my absence. While it was my full intention to be with you today, unfortunately, I am still working through what I hope to be my final days of COVID. Thanks to the amazing wife, Alicia, I would not even be able to write this. I am very excited for the opportunity to work with you all. Parks and Recreation was always very active in my neighborhood growing up in Harrisburg, PA, especially in the summers. Parents could drop off their children at the local park for the day. Breakfast and lunches were provided. It was a safe place for kids to just be kids. running and playing outside, learning about nature, playing all kinds of sports, art, nature walks, this list goes on and on. That is what excites me about Parks and Recreation. When I see the amazing work you all are doing with our town, I knew I had to be a part of this. My wife and I are the business owners of East Wake Collective, a retail store located in downtown Zebulon. Our store was created to provide a space for other small business owners and artisans like ourselves to have the ability to sell their products to the community that we live in. Our store has now branched into different areas such as home, health, bath, beauty, decor, and most recently apparel. Our brand is for the community and by the community. We currently live in the Weaver's Pond subdivision with our 2 children, Jacob and Diana Joy. Growing up in Pennsylvania, I would spend my summers and after-school hours attending programs within the Parks and Recreation system. In these systems, I found friendships, had fun, and learned the meaning of community. In my ideal world, my children would be able to experience the same. The sense of community is what drew my wife and I to Zebulon, and I found that with each passing month, week, and day, that sense of community deepens. I recently became a basketball coach for the youth basketball team, and as a father, this is a dream come true. I feel that the programs and outreach that the Parks and Recreation system could provide would only make the community better. I am excited for the opportunity to be a part of developing and supporting such programs. I've observed the need for activities and programming that appeals to the growing number of families of our town. One idea that sits strongly with me currently is the development of robust indoor and outdoor activities, clubs for children of all ages, such as guided park exploration and video game tournaments. With my current skill set, I would be able to develop, implement, and market these types of events and programming, as well as look at the community and fiscal impact. Team-based development, strategies, and information sharing would be at the center of my initiatives. Thank you again for the opportunity to communicate my commitment to the goals of the Parks and Recreation Department. I look forward to the opportunity to partner with you in supporting our growing community. Sincerely, Quentin Taylor.
What's on?
I'll move to appoint Adrian Harris and Quentin Taylor to the Parks and Rec Advisory Board.
Second?
There have been a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Passes unanimously. Next, we have the meeting calendar for 2022.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Normally, the meeting schedule is not something that would come before you. It would remain on consent, but there's a few changes I wanted to walk through the board that are different than your schedules of the past. The first is to take note of the work sessions. Last year, the board adopted a meeting schedule where the work sessions were moved up from 7 o'clock to 6 o'clock. These proved to be pretty popular. The conflict was 6 o'clock on Wednesdays was a conflict with the Capital Area Metropolitan Planning Organization, which is important for Zebulon to attend, to be a part of major land use and transportation planning efforts in the region. So later in last year's schedule, that meeting was moved to Thursdays, which seemed to work for everyone. So I just wanted to point out that the work sessions and the meeting schedule that the board is considering, that the work sessions would be the third Thursday at 6 o'clock. We offer for consideration the third Thursday because it's easy to remember rather than the second Wednesday after the first meeting, which is how it was originally listed. I point this out because there will be months where you might have 2 meetings within the same week. So it might be possible on certain months where you would have a joint public hearing on a Monday and a work session on that Thursday. I'll pause there before I talk about the other 2 major deviations to see if there's any questions or comments from the board.
Just from the work session, the May 16th that you have listed is actually May 19th.
Okay. other questions or comments or clarifications? Okay. The second big change is we are offering for the board to consider the introduction of what we're calling mini retreats. Rather than a traditional 2-day retreat, these would be several 1-day retreats, specifically in the months of January, February, and March. The idea behind this is you have more and more information coming your way. These require a little bit more detail, and most importantly, they require time for you to deliberate so you can provide direction on how you want to proceed on these issues. In some cases, we will also utilize going to a specific place because they offer something specifically related to their site. So as an example, one of the things that the staff has tried to coordinate is the mini retreat in February. We're looking for that to be a mini retreat at the town of Apex to see how they have master planned their downtown area. So in January, February, and March, we are proposing for the board to consider adding a mini retreat. All 3 of these will occur the week after the scheduled work session. Again, I'll pause to see if there's any questions or comments.
I have a conflict with the January 12th and 13th strategic planning retreat. Can that be moved? And it might be a little bit problematic, so I'm going to put this to the board to see if they would mind doing that strategic planning retreat on the 25th and 26th.
I've got, if you can hold on to that, I'll answer about the strategic planning retreat in just a minute.
Okay.
But my comments really were geared to the mini retreats. Is there any? Yes.
Mini retreats will be pretty much an all-day event?
Yeah,
is what you
typically
think?
something like a 9 to 4 or 9 to 3.
Okay.
Time allowed in there for travel. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Now let's talk about the third, which is the strategic planning retreat that Commissioner Baxter just mentioned. Our idea in listing the strategic planning retreat on January 12th and 13th was take advantage of the fact that 3 of the commissioners, or 2 commissioners and the mayor, will be attending the Essentials of Municipal Government course in Wilmington. And we thought with at least 3 of them, we would just try to dovetail offering a time for all of you to get together. In looking at their schedule that they have planned for the Essentials of Municipal Government, that's essentially going to be an all-day affair for 2 days straight. And so we really did not think there was going to be time to do the strategic planning retreat. So the recommendation that staff will put before you is what's listed right now as Wednesday and Thursday, January 12th and 13th strategic planning retreat. Just delete that, with January 27th being the date of the strategic planning retreat. And again, I'll take any questions or comments. So leave it to the board for them to adopt and amend as they see fit their 2022 regular meeting schedule.
I have advanced leadership training that goes February 6th through the 11th. Lisa, you're the person here that probably will be able to answer if we'll be able to do that, if I'll be able to dial in remotely for that meeting.
Probably not, because we're not set up in this room to do face-to-face meeting.
All right, thank you. And I would like to propose that we go back to putting, even if it's tentatively, meetings back on the schedule for July. Thoughts?
I'm not in favor of July meetings.
I like the idea of a placeholder in July. Otherwise, I'm afraid people may schedule a vacation and we may not have a quorum if something critical comes up, is the only reason I like a placeholder.
So if there's business to be had, we can move forward with it, and we should know in June. Tuesday is July 5th. July 4th being the holiday. Thoughts on July 5th? Or would you prefer July 6th?
Could I offer?
Or move it to the next week?
Well, let me just offer this for the board to consider. The likelihood, as has been the case for probably 6 years now, of having business that needs to be tended to in July is almost non-existent. The development community has learned this schedule and they have planned. Also, that's the very start of a fiscal year, so there is no financial reporting that would be required. If push really came to shove, you've got the option of calling for a special called meeting. But again, that's just information for you all to consider before you make your decision.
It was a little bit problematic with COVID to not be able to have a meeting in July, so I'm just putting it out there for you guys to think about. I think that, Larry, you would feel good at having there be a placeholder.
So in the past July, what did we have? Was last July, did we have a meeting last July? Or
No.
for the last 6 years, we haven't had one?
Nor have you had a need to.
Okay.
So what's before us is whether or not we want a placeholder on there or risk the possibility of not being able to meet.
But he did just say we can do a special call meeting, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's true, but if somebody on the board makes vacation plans that particular time, then that would be at least one member that couldn't attend. That's why a placeholder, you just kind of say, that day I'm staying in town.
And that's the 5th of July, you said it?
It could be any day, but that was just the day after the 4th, which is a
Why don't you
holiday.
put it later?
Yeah, we could do it later.
Because I know a lot of people probably travel on the 4th of July. I'm thinking the 4th of July, and people are going to be still traveling.
The following week, maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
Third weekend?
So,
Or you could just, I still think a call meeting, I think I think that would work. But, calling a meeting if necessary. I think, to me, that's the best, instead of setting a date, specific date. But
What's your pleasure?
I've always been in favor of the placeholder of a date on there, and then we can always strike it in June if there's nothing urgent that has to be taken care of.
I agree.
I'd go for that as well, just as long as it's a placeholder. But like I said, it's definitely, the date is the main thing for me. I mean, like I said, during that time frame, I'm with after the 4th of July weekend type of thing.
If we do July 11th, would that work? Just as a placeholder? It's a Monday, the following week?
The 11th works
It works
for me.
Okay, so
York, can I make a comment? It's not allowed to just strike a regular meeting by statute.
So
If you
what,
have nothing on the agenda, you can cancel the meeting.
You have to show up with a quorum and cancel the meeting, or one person has to show up and there is no quorum, and then you can't have a meeting. You can't just say, we're not having a meeting. Somebody has to show up for the meeting.
But can we not amend the agenda throughout the course of the year?
Yes, so in June, you could call a special meeting for July, or you could say at that point, you're going to amend the agenda to not have a meeting.
As I was understood, once you adopt an agenda, you can amend it prior to a meeting. For example, you can amend the agenda in June and cancel a scheduled meeting in July.
Yes, you have to amend the schedule. Yes, it's the same process that you would use to call a special meeting. You have to call a special meeting within 48 hours of when you want to hold it.
okay, so we just
So
need...
either way, you have to do something special.
Okay, so we would just need to amend the meeting.
agenda and the June meeting.
In the June meeting. Okay. Well, I'm good with that. July 11th? Does that work? Yeah?
Good.
Okay.
Could we have that in a motion, most specifically the amendments that I think I'm hearing, which is the date of the July, and just get concurrence that the January 12th and the 13th strategic planning retreat is not being adopted, and the March 17th work session should be the 19th.
So I move to strike the January 12th and 13th strategic planning retreat to be replaced with the January 27th mini retreat, as well as schedule a meeting for July 11th, and to change the May 16th date to May 19th.
Second?
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion passes. That all?
It is, I'm gonna, after the board has comments, I had manager's
Oh, okay.
report, so I was just waiting.
Board comments, Commissioner Baxter?
So I'd like to remind everyone that Candy Cane Lane is going to be happening this Friday, December 10th. And I'm sure that the Parks and Rec Department, in concert with the Police Department, Fire Department, and Public Works, have all been working super hard to make this a very special event, and it would be fantastic to have the citizens of Zebulon down there engaging in some merriment. In addition, there is a pop-up market on Saturday, the 11th, also in downtown Zebulon. It will be, and just not if this is correct, not in the alleyway that we are used to having it. It will actually be on the sidewalks. No, it's not going to be there. Where is it going to be? In the public parking lot by Pizza Amore. All right. Also, testing and vaccines are now by appointment only at the Eastern Regional Center. I'd like to just make sure that everyone is aware that we have secured $5,000 from the United Arts Fund for a future mural project. That's kind of exciting, and I'm looking forward to endeavoring to see what kind of cool stuff we can do there. I'd like to congratulate Austin Morgan and Dustin Thorne, who are both promoted to senior firefighter. And of course, another big, huge shout out to Fire Chief Chris Perry for his Fire Officer 3 certification, and to Fire Inspector Chris Bissett, who was promoted to Fire Marshal and Town Safety Officer. In addition, yesterday we lost World War II hero and longtime Senator Bob Dole at the age of 98. And tomorrow we remember Pearl Harbor Day, which was the act that drew us irrevocably into World War II. And while now we're in a time of relative peace, our enemy has changed, and we now have a pandemic that we're fighting. But as opposed to before, when citizens were asked to collect their bacon grease and save their newspapers, there are further things that every American citizen can do now so that we can fight this latest threat to our freedom. Thank you.
Commissioner Clark?
I too would like to congratulate the fire department on all their accommodations and everything they have been doing and the promotions that the staff has.
Commissioner Miles?
I'd first like to take the time now to thank the community for allowing me the opportunity to become one of the newest commissioners here of Zebulon, North Carolina, my hometown. personally want to take the time to do that. It means a lot, and thanks for the support thus far. And looking forward to working together with the community, as well as my fellow commissioners and mayor as well, for the better of Zebulon, the good of Zebulon. Look forward to the exciting things that we're going to go together as a team. I look forward to that.
Commissioner Fox?
Well, ditto what everybody's already said, and officially welcome Commissioner Miles to the board. And also remind everyone, COVID, please wear your mask, especially in public. There was a huge surge in COVID cases following Thanksgiving, and I'm afraid if we get lax in the month of December, January is going to be a very bad month. So please mask up and encourage people in public to wear a mask.
Thank you. I'd just like to comment on, I am grateful for this opportunity to be the new mayor of Zebulon. I look forward to the assignment and the transition from being on the commissioner board to mayor. I would also like to recognize former commissioner Miss Annie Moore, who has served on this board for the last 4 years, and we appreciate her service and commitment. Thank you. Manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Just some overviews of what is going to be on your work session, which is next Thursday, the 16th. You will continue your conversation on the comprehensive pay and classification. This next installment, you will focus on fire department. We'll also, with the passage of the Parks and Recreation Master Plan, as well as some budgeted funds that were in your current year's budget to implement that Parks and Rec Master Plan, as well as to prepare us for the upcoming budget, we're going to start a conversation with the board, get some feedback on what their interests are and what their priorities are for programming as it relates to Parks and Recreation. It is likely, given the amount of infrastructure improvements that the town of Zebulon will undertake in the next few years regarding transportation, fire stations, even Parks and Recreation projects, we're going to get some information regarding a potential bond referendum before the board will deliver information regarding the bond referendum process, the schedule, the costs associated with that. We'll even provide some sample projects and some ballots that other communities have put forth when they've adopted and considered a bond referendum. And because, as you all are aware, there is a vacancy on the Board of Commissioners, we'll bring forward some information for you to provide some feedback and mold and shape the process that you want to consider in soliciting interest in filling that slot, as well as what is the process and the schedule to go through to fill that appointment. And with that, that concludes the manager's report.
Okay. Closed sessions per General Statute 143-318-11A5 to instruct the town staff on negotiating agents concerning the position to be taken on behalf of the town and negotiating the price for the other material terms and contract or proposed contract for acquisition of real property by the purchase, option, exchange, or lease. Do I hear a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Second? Second.
All in favor? Okay, so we're going into closed session.